Absolutely, you can tell it. Is that lamb frozen?
The lamb comes frozen, and we thaw, of course.
Can you find out where it's from?
Like and subscribe right now or this spider will crawl on your face when you are sleeping. This video of today is about an American reality television show, Hotel Hell, which ran on the Fox network for 3 seasons from 2012 to 2016. Hotel Hell is created, hosted, and narrated by Gordon Ramsay, and it aired on Monday nights at 8 p.m. By the way, for the Fox network, it was Ramsay's 4th series. On the series, Ramsay features visiting multiple struggling hotel establishments in the United States to reverse their misfortunes. But today, you will see the Hotel Hell's worst hotels today. Let's roll. Brick Hotel. Gordon Ramsay heads over to Newtown, Pennsylvania in the season 3 episode to visit Brick Hotel to bring it back on its feet. The owners of the hotels are therapist Veranda Kerr and her son CJ. Back in 2006, they purchased the hotel and believed that it would be a great investment opportunity. They were told by the previous owners that it was a hands-off business and it would run by itself, but this was far from the truth. The owners often cut corners and their staff turnover is extreme while struggling to earn any profits. Not just that, they went through 50 different staff members, with some only lasting 1 shift over the course of 8 months. Well, as a viewer for me, the biggest issue with the hotel is that Veranda acts like a dictator, and her motto is quite clear that it's her way or the highway. Therefore, the hotel's reputation is pretty abysmal, and that's why people generally avoid it. For needing some guidance, the owners call out to Ramsay for some much-needed help before the business closes down for good. Ramsay first meets with some of the former employees to know their opinions instead of going straight to the hotel. They shared with Ramsay that the hotel isn't really that bad, and the real problem is Veranda, as she scares everyone away and she wouldn't pay on time to staff. One of the ex-employees shared that she once called the cops on them. Later on, when Ramsay heads over to the hotel, he notices that the entrance windows of the hotel are smashed and there are bullet holes in the wall, and the wallpaper is peeling off as well. He finds tons of mold practically everywhere while checking into his room, yellow pillowcases, and filthy curtains. Then the Hotel Hell host goes into the kitchen and gets shocked after knowing that there isn't a head chef. After that, on the shower's curtains, Ramsay does a bacteria test and gets a disgustingly high rating of 5680. Then immediately he pulls the fire alarm and evacuates the hotel. Then he meets with the staff and Veranda starts to blame everyone but herself for the problem. Both the lobby and the rooms become aesthetically overhauled after making tons and tons of renovations. Even their menu was updated by including some easy-to-make, delicious food. At the Brick's eventual relaunch, locals were invited as guests to the dinner service and for the tour of the new and improved hotel. The reputation of the past hotel was slowly starting to improve, and all credits went to the CJ as he was running things. After that, Veranda began to sit back and let the staff do their jobs. Even their employee turnover became at an all-time low, as Veranda's positive change consequently brought this. The hotel's manager responded to certain online criticisms after some months by sharing that they had planned a large renovation. Since the reviews on Yelp and TripAdvisor were mostly negative, things weren't looking very good. Ironically, Brick Hotel renamed to Rocco's after they ended up selling the business. Monticello Hotel. Gordon Ramsay, for a season 2 episode, heads over to the Monticello Hotel that is located in Longview, Washington, to rescue it from getting closed. When the owner, Philip Lovingvoss, was 8 years old, he was the first introduced to the hotel since his mom worked there. Throughout his early 30s, he fell in love with the owner, Annabelle Jewell, while working as a bartender at the hotel. While Annabelle was in her 60s, they had a long-term relationship. Lovingfast inherited the hotel after Annabelle's sad passing. Now he runs the hotel with his girlfriend Ginger, who works here as a general manager. Ginger yet again is 30 years older than Philip. It's odd that most of the hotel's rooms are unavailable. Therefore, they force guests to stay at what they call the North Wing, their motel, which is next door. It's obvious that they need help, so Lovingfoss calls out to Ramsay, his team, for their professional guidance. When he arrived, he's in a state of awe, looking at the size of the hotel. But after noticing an assortment of cars, he thinks it's a car show. Ramsay is really shocked when the receptionist, Vanessa, tells him that every single car on the lot belongs to the owner. Ramsay's brought to the motel while showing to his room instead of the main building. So he refuses to stay there and is brought to the room he paid for. But he's appalled after knowing that the furnishings and mattresses came from the owner's home. Both revealed during a meeting that the hotel is losing close to $35,000 a month and a whopping $400,000 a year. The Hotel Hill host is greeted by Debbie in the restaurant, and she reveals that Philip is very controlling and no one has any control over the menu or ingredients used. Not just that, Philip also has a drinking problem. The restaurant's chef, Den, reveals that the food isn't freshly cooked because due to the lack of funds, all they get is canned, frozen, and after that, he got a DUI. While eating his food, Ramsey was instantly able to tell that it wasn't made from scratch. Later on, a staff meeting was held and they expressed that Philip's drinking affects their work and they're understaffed and overworked. To get to know how deep Philip's issues are, Ramsey tries to confront him, but he's denied. After that, Gordon plans an intervention with the staff in which Philip walks out in the end. Ramsey follows him and convinces him to get treatment for his problem. After the following months of making tons of beautiful renovations, their revenue significantly increased. Although the owners decided in January of 2014 that it'd be best to close down the restaurant, the decision disappointed many regular visitors, resulting in a lot of mixed reviews on Yelp and TripAdvisor. Philip was sentenced to 90 days in prison after 2 years for threatening a district court judge. Ultimately, in August 2019, the hotel closed down and was recently converted into an apartment building with communal facilities. Maison de Macia. Gordon Ramsay heads over to Las Cruces, New Mexico to visit the Maison de Macia on the very first episode of the second season. The most eccentric, aspiring singer, Kali Schwansky, is actually the owner of this hotel, and back in 2006, she purchased this 14-bedroom hotel. But despite Kali's heavy expectations, things didn't exactly work out as planned. And therefore, she really began to struggle and called out to Ramsay to seek his help. He randomly notices upon his eventual arrival that the color scheme of the building is awfully boring. He was even asked by the receptionist to sign a waiver without damaging the Venetian plaster. By this request, Ramsay got offended, and without taking a minute, he ripped the document in half and then asked about all this from the owner and confronted her reasoning behind such behavior. Well, to replace the wallpaper, which is an absolute joke out there, it apparently costs $7.50 per square foot. After that, Ramsay notices that in Maison de Macia, there are 3 stages in the hotel while showing around. One is in the restaurant, one is in the bar, and the other one is at the pool area. All of these are usually used by Kali for her performances. The owner even expresses, while sitting down with Ramsay to get to the bottom of things, that the biggest issue is the fact that they don't get enough guests. But the general manager Zan points out a completely different issue during the meeting. According to him, the actual problem is that Kali, Ramsay's server, who is Zan's wife named Mitzi, also admits that the owner made the blunder of adding Tuscan food to the menu rather than adding the local dishes. Kali also sang Cher's song "If I Could Turn Back Time" throughout the lunch service, while making everyone, including the visitors, extremely uncomfortable. Ramsay meets with the cook Sierra while heading into the kitchen alongside the owner Zen. The cook reveals that she has no control over the menu. Zen, as a general manager, points out that the things seriously needed to change, on which Kali gets so angry that she fired him, and in this reply, Mitzi also quit her job as well in protest of the decision. After this tense altercation, Ramsay brings the owner to meet with some of the hotel's guests, in a hope to wake her up a little. Many of the guests express that the waiver is insulting, the pool is too dirty to even use, and the singing is awful. Not just that, hilariously, a guest offers her $100 to not sing. Ramsay tells Kali while having a heart-to-heart with her that she really needs to give up on singing and have some class if she wants to succeed. Maison de Macia was finally ready to relaunch after redecorating the rooms, revamping the pool area, and updating the menu. After that, the hotel's future was really starting to seem bright as the guests were ecstatic with the changes made. Post-Hotel Hell, Kali, the owner, kept most of the changes that Ramsay made, but she did make some minor changes to the overall decor. According to some reports, just after the famous chef left, the business's sales certainly increased, but it's only for a little. To help in running the restaurant side of the business, the owner decided to bring in a 50-50 silent partner, but it really didn't improve anything. Kali put the business up for sale back in 2014, listing it for $2.85 million, and in March of 2017 is sold. And now, with most praising the location and beautiful decor, the hotel is called Hotel Macia. Its reviews are pretty decent, but other visitors are complaining about the service quality. Thank you for watching the video.